We speak.
We won't do this for 6:31. Call a meeting to order. Stand for the pledge of allegiance, please. Pledge of allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. It's really close here, see?
Go ahead, Brian. Here. Tanya Davis,
Here,
Scott Meyer, absent. Dean Akers, here. Nick Clarkson. Here. We have enough for a quorum. I'd like to have approval to accept the meeting minutes for tonight.
I'll make a motion to approve the meeting minutes from April 9th, 2025.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Approval of the evening's agenda for tonight. Motion for approval.
I need, okay, I make a motion to approve the meeting agenda for tonight, July 9th, 2025.
All in favor?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Approved. Old business?
Yes, I did that.
Yeah, that was the meeting minutes.
And new business.
All right. Gene and Nick, I'm gonna pass you guys down the meeting minutes. We get those signed, please. And then the next page after you guys' meeting minutes should have the candidate overview for Jacob Payne. Basically, he grew up in Illinois, went to high school in Illinois, good GPA, joined the Army right after that. Through his last 5.5, 6 years in the Army, he was promoted to the rank of sergeant, honorably discharged in January. He has a lot of service ribbons, achieved good conduct medals, global war on terrorism, expert infantryman, pathfinder, parachutist, air assault. So he's done a lot in the military. For his overview, he had his driving privileges suspended briefly in 2021 for getting 2 tickets in a really short period of time on his Illinois driver's license. Currently, he's valid with 0 points. And he was sent to see the psychiatric team for 4 sessions. Him and his wife got into an argument, and copies of the sessions and the police report are in his file. But all that was pretty much cleared out by anybody with within the military psychiatry units, and the police department didn't really have anything negative. It was just they recommended him to go talk to somebody because him and his wife were having some issues. So, and he has no criminal history. He's currently in the National Guard, and he said if we were to offer him a position, he had already given his commander information about possibly transferring units to Indiana, and currently he's passed the Fortville physical standards written test, passed the officer's interview, chief's interview, background. And then if you look at the next page is his resume, which sums up all his military stuff. And then the third page back, I offered Mr. Payne a conditional offer after our interview with him on June 26th. Of the conditional offer with the completion of public safety medical testing, physical and psychological testing, local and state pension boards, and then withdraw from any other processes and commit to Fortville, which he did. He is currently taking his psychological testing with Dr. Higginbotham out of Noblesville, who we use for our psychological testing. And then the military was going to give him his full battery of physical testing to sign off on the state pension forms. He was there today. Only thing they didn't get completed today was the drug screening panels, because the military had run out of them. So they had to order more and get him back in for those. So that's where I'm at on my hiring process. The other interview did not go very well. I offered him the thank you, but no thank you. And then we have to start another hiring process again. It's like the fifth one in our past 8 months that we keep trying to find good applicants. But like I've always said, I'm not going to just get people to get people. I want to find people that are going to be good for Fortville. So we've gotten basically 2 in the past 8 months out of, I don't know, maybe 15 applicants, which is very low because Greenfield just had their process. They got 52 applicants. New Pal just had 27 or 28 in their process. So, but what I would like tonight is if it's possible, and you all would agree, that if Mr. Payne passes his psychological and physical medical testing, that you give me the approval to go ahead and hire him so I could send that to the local and state pension board to get him to come to Fortville. Normally, we would have a second meeting, but I'm expecting this to be done in about a week and a half at tops. So I just don't, I'm kind of jumping ahead of the curve there, but I feel like he's going to pass everything. He's in peak physical condition. I think he ran the 1.5 miles in under 8 minutes. And then push-ups, sit-ups, and jumps and everything else, he did really well. Psychological, I don't see any issues there either. So I'm preemptively asking if you guys would go ahead and approve Mr. Payne for a position. I currently have 2 open positions. He would fill 1. If we
Well, I
could,
would make a motion that we approve to hire this gentleman upon the conditions of the chief passing the psychological exam and other requirements stated by the chief. I'd make a motion to move forward with the hiring process.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
thank you.
Seems to be a great guy.
Yeah. All right, moving on to letter C here. Like I was telling you, our hiring processes have not been great. We've had minimal applicants. Out of those applicants, we haven't found very many great that I feel like are going to be the good applicants for Fortville. We're getting some laterals, but unfortunately, a lot of the lateral applicants we're getting are coming from departments that they've been released from. And, in some cases, that's not a bad thing if they just didn't fall within their standards, but a lot of it is because they've been in trouble and they resigned or did something. So I'm not going to hire those people. But I've talked with Tanya, and I know we've had this discussion before, is I think a lot of it's financial. Everybody else in this county is paying much more than us. New Pal included, and they're smaller than us. So when I spoke with Beth, we just had our first kind of intro to budget for this year of our wish lists, really, with Beth with bookkeeping to see what we would want this year, just kind of throw it out there to see if she could make any of it work. She was going to try to get us a I don't know what percentage raise, but try to get us in the 70s somewhere. I said, low to mid 70s would be good. We would be comparable and competitive with every other department within the county. I know we're not going to get to Hamilton County prices. We just don't have the tax base. It's just not going to happen. But I feel like we should be competitive within Hancock County, strictly because I might be a little biased here, but I think we have one of the best departments in Hancock County. So Beth was going to look at it, let me know. And if that's the case, then probably our next meeting before the budget gets approved, I'm going to present to council and present to you all kind of I've got every salary in the state for police officers. I've got every salary for the county. I've got Pendletons. I will bring out the comparables and let everybody know exactly where we're at and where I feel like we need to be, so. Moving on to D, Officer Simpson had a major heart surgery today. He will be out of all road duties until 2026.
How'd it go? Did you-
Haven't heard yet. I'm kind of anxiously awaiting the message. So, I don't know what time it was scheduled. I don't remember. But, hopefully all went well. So I'm thinking about him but we'll be basically down. Lanning's still in training. Jacob Payne, who we just approved to hire, will still be in training through beginning of 2026. And then I have one more open spot and now Chase is out. So that's really going to put me probably about 4 people down that are fully trained. Unfortunately, the next part is the quarterly report and our calls for service have gone up. April, they went up 7.61%. May, they went up 19.5%. In June, they went up 3.89%. Total in the past quarter was 4,534 calls for service. We had 85 total arrests, 628 written ordinance, warning, infractions, misdemeanor, and felony tickets. Took 15 accident reports and did a lot of training. So we're not in mode where we're scrambling to find coverage, but if the calls keep going up and we can't find qualified officers, we're going to get behind the 8 ball pretty quick, I feel. And I don't want that to happen. So we're working diligently to try to sort through all our applications we have to screen them out and then invite people to our next physical testing, which I'm not sure the date yet, but it will be either end of July, 1st of August before we do our next physical test.
It's 2 openings that we have, right?
Yeah, as of July 1st, we have 2.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah, because Officer Grimm resigned, which I know you all know that. I put that email out. And then I had an opening July 1st on the budget that I was approved to hire for this year. So I have 2 current openings.
So when you asked Beth about the budget, you did remind her of that you still have one that you can have for this year and
Yes,
still look for the increase.
yes.
Okay,
And I asked for one for next year also.
okay.
But we don't need,
But if we can't do that, I'd rather see you get the increase.
Yeah.
Definitely.
so, and I told her for next year too, is on vehicles, the oldest in-fleet vehicles we have for full-time officers are 2022s, which are me and Mark's trucks. I'm never gonna need a new truck. Mark's never gonna need a new truck. We don't put the miles on them. We don't drive them hard. So then we have 2023s, which won't be due for new vehicles till 2028. It's a 5-year cycle, about 100,000 miles before they start costing us some money. So I like to do that. So I told her we could probably hold off on getting vehicles if we can use that money somewhere and I just told her to work some magic, see what we could come up with.
Are you trying to raise base pay?
Yes.
Base pay?
Well,
Okay.
first class patrolman's pay.
Okay.
I want our officers that have been here 3 years to equal out the same as officers in New Pal or the county. Actually, the county's a little bit lower after 3, but they hit their mark at 5 because they just got that really big raise last year.
Mhm.
Greenfield's the same kind of as us. McCordsville's a little bit lower, but their specialty pays are a lot higher than ours. If they do anything, like every time they FTO somebody, if they FTO 3 new people in their car that year, they get $500 a person. So our guys get $250 a year if they FTO somebody.
Mhm.
So they have the option to make a little more money than we do, and they get paid out overtime to where we don't. All of ours goes into comp. So
Patrick, on the, due to the past 12 months and a couple of accidents, how much have that affected your budget? Do you have a general idea
as far as what?
as far as, what it takes to get these vehicles back into operational service? and so
Our
forth?
police vehicle accidents?
Yeah.
So Sergeant Archer's was completely covered by Erie Insurance. The lady that hit him had Erie. They wrote us a check for a new car, minus a little bit of a depreciation, but we get it at government cost. They gave us MSRP cost, so it equaled out. They were paid to take the lights out of the old car, the dog kennel out of the old car, and put it in the new car. They were great to work with. So they cost us $0. They reimbursed our deductible. The one before that, I think we have $1,000 deductible, and I know it affects our insurance, but we had a span there, knock on wood, we don't have another span, but we had a span where our cars were getting in some accidents. In a 10-year scope of it, it's like one a year, but in a 2-year scope, we had about 8 or 9 accidents. Fortunately, only 3 of them were considered Fortville PD's fault. So we got reimbursement for deductibles on all the other ones. I don't have a total number of cost.
No, that's fine. I figured you would. I just had to ask the question because it was running through my head.
Sure,
Because it does affect your bottom line.
it does.
So,
I mean, when we have to replace graphics to put on a car are $800 just to put Fortville police on them. And if you have a body cam panel that's scratched or dented and they take it to the body shop and pull it out, they have to put new graphics on it. So there's $450 because we have to cut it in half because it's only one side, and it's always something. I have done really well for most years. I've gone over in some spending, so I have different areas of my budget, and I have it all broken down to whether it's police professional dues. I mean, I've probably got 30 subcategories into my budget. And every year I've been the chief, I've always kept it under budget. Now we've had to reappropriate money from one account to another account, but I've always generally come in on average 10 to 15,000 under of what my budget normally is. And I think this year it was about 1.8 or 1.9, somewhere in that range for the police department, salaries, benefits, fuel. That's one of our biggest expenses is fuel.
well, as far as your overall budget, and you're talking about the vehicle and replacements and so forth. What about like the personal gear, the protection gear, the bulletproof vest and so forth?
The vests are in a line item.
They're due to be updated when?
Every 5 years. So I talked to Beth about that. Vests have gone up. They used to be about $850. They're about $1,200 now. She's going to try to make some accommodations for that. So we work really well to be able to say, hey, I don't need money here because we're always saving money in this line item, but we might need a little more money here. And it's like fuel this year it's been at a pretty steady rate. It hasn't jumped to $4 and down to $2. It's been right around the $3 mark, maybe 3 and some change.
You replace them all at once?
The cars?
For the entire department? Or you
No. So generally I try to do a 2-3, 2-3, 2-3. So every 5 years we get about 10 new cars. And then some of the older ones go into the back for the pool cars for the reserves. Or if somebody has, like we have a spare canine car. If Archer's car needs to go to the shop one day and he has to work, he's got another dog car back there with a kennel in it. Now it's a 2017, but it still runs and it still drives and it's perfect for what we need it for. So we try to reuse and use as much stuff as we can until its life cycle or it just costs us way too much money to upkeep. At that point, we'll declare them surplus, which I just did with the 2 Durangos. They had been nothing but headaches, in my opinion, since we got them with engine problems and brakes and this and that. And they are now off of our lot and off of our insurance. So I'm thankful for that. Any other questions about the quarterly report? All your type totals, and we've gone over those before. It's the same thing I get from dispatch every month. On the very top, it says incidents created from, it's underneath the circle there. It says April 1st to April 30th. 3 pages there, and then the next one's May, and the next one's June. But it'll tell you all the different types of calls that the officers go on. Looks like April, we had 2 traffic pursuits. May, what do we have there? Doesn't look like we had any. That's good. Nope, 2 there. And then June. None. And then on the last couple pages are the accidents from the state. I get this data straight from Aries Portal, which is the state police's website that tracks every accident in the state of Indiana. Just says summary results, agency Fortville PD, and from April 1st to June 30th. Total 15 collisions, 13 with property damage and 2 resulting in injury. And then I hot mapped where all the, we can hot map them basically to show where all of our accidents are occurring. And if you notice, they're pretty much all on Broadway and some right there on North Main Street where people are backing out. So get people back into other cars or, don't see somebody as they're driving down the road and they back into them. And then the last page will tell you the primary cause of all of the accidents. Driver distracted, improper turning, other vehicle, explain a narrative, which means there's something wrong with their vehicle. Other driver, explain a narrative, usually means that they weren't paying attention. Following too closely, other driver, following too closely, following too closely. We did have one with an actual brake failure, a single car accident that the person's brakes completely failed. Unsafe backing, other environmental, which means either a tree or something natural came out in the roadway and they struck it. Other driver, following too closely, driver distracted, and other driver. So those were all the causes of all the accidents that we've had that we responded to.
Do you think there's any more accidents on 36 than there was before? Or what do you think's happened since we've had it?
The numbers, I've looked at them before, during construction, we had a lot more. After construction compared to before construction, there are about the same amount of accidents, but not nearly as many injury accidents. The amount of injury accidents have gone down about 30%. And most of those injury accidents were at Merrill and Broadway. People would go across because somebody's waving them through, but there were 4 lanes.
Right.
And they wouldn't see the other lane that's doing 35 miles an hour and they'd hit them and then there was an injury. That was most of our issues with our injury accidents was that location.
You think the speed's getting better too?
No. I
I
think,
thought maybe that was why there weren't so many injuries, because
No.
he did slow down some and.
I think the problem is
Yeah.
that the speed signs and all that, the ones that flash that say you're going too fast, there's just too much visual distraction on Broadway to really pay attention to speed signs. And if there's crosswalks and all that, there's just too much. It's visual overload for someone driving, even me. And I'm used to looking for people in cars and reading license plates and all that. I drive down there and I'm like, oh my goodness, there's just so much to look at.
But wouldn't that slow you down naturally? I mean, that's what I'm saying.
It should,
It should slow.
it should slow you
yeah.
down, yeah.
The reaction times are a lot slower though.
Yeah.
And that's why I think a
Yeah.
lot of the rear ends and stuff are
Yeah,
happening.
follow too close.
And then traffic lights have a lot.
They're not paying attention and they're looking at something else along the side of the roadway and someone stopped and.
I mean, nice establishments and restaurants, we need to shut some of these things down.
Yeah. Are we gonna get, I think, I might ask Joe this, but are we gonna get another speed monitoring sign out here on 13? Because I think we ran out of them, didn't we? And we were
I
gonna
think
get-
that was our next
Okay,
order we were gonna
okay.
get. I
I
think
had
Joe
someone
was
ask
waiting
me
on
about
another
that, yeah.
sale, because last time we got
Yeah.
them on a really good sale.
That's right.
And I think he was waiting on another sale to get
Coming in
those coming in on
I
the
think
south
that's
side.
Yeah.
I do too. I like them. Even at, coming north on Fortville Pike, just past the light, people will turn off 200
Yeah.
and they'll be at 35 before they reach that sign. And I'll watch them. As soon as the sign starts flashing, they start slowing back down.
I've done it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, oh, man.
Yeah.
That was
It
quick.
helps with students too.
Yeah.
It gives them but there's not a lot of visual distraction in that area too. There's that one
One,
sign
you're right.
that flashes at you.
Yeah.
And
Well, all of us that have the habit of driving a certain speed through there,
Mhm.
that flashing does the same thing for me.
Yeah.
Because I just go the normal speed and I'm like, oh my God.
Yes. If you're not paying attention, you're at 36 or 37.
Yeah.
You see it, you're like, oh, shoot, I need to slow down.
Well, they are. People don't know what's on the other side of that flashing speed limit sign either.
Yeah.
They don't know if an
If
unmarked
it's a
car is
camera
there
or-
or whatever. We use them around our facility all the time.
Mhm.
They definitely help.
Any questions about the quarterly report?
I do not have any questions. About the quarterly report.
No, I got a question if I can ask it now.
Right away.
What is your procedure for your officers on your body cams?
When they're interacting with the public, they should be on unless there's an exigent circumstance that they don't have time to turn it on. If they show up to, like they're driving down the road and there's a bad accident in front of them, their first priority is priority of life. They have to go and assist and make sure everybody's okay first. Just like if they're talking to somebody and this person, they're at the gas station, just, hey, how are you today? Whatever, going in to get a soda and then this person pulls out a knife. I don't expect them to try to turn their body cam on. I expect them to handle the situation. And then turn it on when reasonably possible and safe.
Yeah. Do you have cameras in a car?
We do.
So if something happens in front of the car or,
After we had the more accidents, we put in-car cameras and it runs off their ECMs, their electronic control modules on their car. So we know if their brakes were on, we know how much fuel was in it, when the last time the oil was changed. We have all that data now. And fortunately, since we've gotten the cameras, we haven't had to use it.
so that you see behind it, behind the car, in front of it?
You can see in front of the car and then in the passenger compartment of the car, like if they're transporting a prisoner, because their body cams are only going to face forward. But if they have a prisoner over here and this
Right.
prisoner kicks them or does something, they're not going to be able to see that. The only one we have an issue with is the police canine truck. To get the camera angled right to where the suspect's supposed to go, it's kind of a weird view.
Well, the reason I'm asking is just the society we're in
Mhm.
now. And it's better to be proactive with something like that than not have it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we've had body cams pre-Ferguson in Fortville. So before all the big stuff in Ferguson took place, we had already purchased body cams. And then last year, I went ahead and got in-car cameras because we just didn't have like suspect info or car info, and there's so many people that will pull out, in front of you and slam on their brakes now for insurance fraud purposes, that I want to be able to document stuff like that,
Right.
hey, look, this is what happened, so.
I think that's very important. I realize what you're saying about reaction time in situations, but even in those situations, it might be important that they were on
Yeah.
prior to whatever's going to happen.
Right. Yeah, if they're going on any call, like if they show up to my house because of a medical emergency,
Right.
before they get out of the car, it's just a tap on, double tap off.
Okay.
So they should just tap their body cam, it turns on. And before they interact with anybody and get out of their car, it should be on.
Okay.
I'm just saying, like, if there's an emergent situation, if something happens like super
Oh, yeah,
fast and they
yeah.
just don't have time, or it's not safe for them to do that, that's what our policy states.
Okay.
Other than that, any other citizen encounter, it should be on.
Okay. Sounds good.
And those servers for those body cameras, they're still off site, right? Don't you have
Yeah, we just upgraded those to a cloud-based server.
my old minutes and I saw that we
Yeah,
did the update on that. I was just curious.
yep. That's all been transitioned over. Only thing we haven't done is archived all the old videos into the new stuff yet. But when Officer Simpson comes back, that's going to be his light duty gig to transfer all those things when he can drive and get back into an office, and he can't go do police work, but I'll find something for him to do.
That's all I had.
Don't you have any comments,
I
questions?
think I've said enough.
I do not. Nick, you have any comments, questions?
There's not?
All right. With that, let's pick a date for the following coming meeting.
Should
next
be
meeting.
what? August, September, is that right? September, October. September,
October.
and should be the 8th, is that correct? Second Wednesday of the month?
Yes.
That's what I got.
Yep.
October 8th at 6:30.
Yep. At 6:30.
Are you in agreement with that?
Yes.
Yes.
That's what I got.
It is 7:02. If they have a motion to adjourn the meeting,
Motion to adjourn the meeting at 7:02.
have a second,
Second.
all in favor,
Aye.
meeting over.
Another good job, Gene.